Hello, soul villains. What should we call them? So that
I
don't like
don't
that.
know.
Sunday soul. I don't know. We're gonna come up with a
We're
name.
gonna come up with something.
Maybe not. Who knows? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Cause yeah,
Hey, we be making up songs.
the whole time. So today is culture
Versus
versus
community.
community. Oh yeah.
And your take on
Um. So, as we normally do, um, I like to give a little breakdown of a breakdown of a breakdown, right? Why are we doing this? Culture versus community. And
it. Uh-huh.
so, we've been having ongoing conversations as we do, in house. We like to talk about what topics we want to present, or even if things are going on, and should we address this? Should we just leave it be?
Let it rest.
Let it rest. So I felt it be my due diligence on my soul journey to do something called culture versus community. And what that breaks down to is
What is community?
exactly.
What is
So,
culture?
what are they? And are we striving collectively towards the same target, or are we assuming culture is the community? Now, of course, we can go back and forth on that. Will culture creates the community, or does the community create the culture? Um, I don't think it's an egg versus chicken thing. I think that the community is supposed to create the culture.
Okay.
And um that perceptions is what uh, solidifies a community's culture. In the regards of when you're coming to like the philosophers that uh, coin culture to be as far as art, um, and attributions to a specific community, be it racial identity, origins, religious, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
So, to me, it seems nowadays that the culture is not selected by the people, but given unto them.
Okay, pause. Why? Why do you say
Why do I say that?
that?
Is because um, you look at the first thing we look at that kind of will take the temperature in the room of what the current cultural climate, and let me go to the Black African American community. You're going to go to entertainment. You're going to look, of course, what's in politics, not just what's ongoing, but it's mostly what's in entertainment. What are they doing that is showing cultural ties? Or not only that, what certain communities are trying to put forth as their cultural direction, right?
Okay.
Um, so, for example, you have a community of people that have a collective mindset to want to rebuild Black Wall Street. This is not all of Black culture, this is a specific portion
Mm-hmm.
of Black culture. And what we see in mainstream media, and let me correct myself, mainstream media is what is designated at what the as to what the culture is, right?
Okay.
Because that's where everybody goes to kind of see what's going on in the world. They go to news outlets, Twitters, Facebooks, Instagrams, not necessarily Snapchats. I don't even think they have news or anything like that, but that's how we kind of condition ourselves to figure out what's hot, what's out, what's trending.
Mm-hmm.
The culture has become what's trending. It's become what's hot right now rather than building a platform of longevity. And I think that's why a lot of those that want to rebuild Black Wall Street or quote unquote revolutionize the Black community can only go on those bases because that's the last known greatness of that specific community.
Okay, so how do you do how do you when inside the community
Mm-hmm.
see the differences as far as the cultural aspect goes? Because I say that because you can be raised in this community.
Mm-hmm.
You emulate the things of this community,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you come over to this community, you're considered not of the culture.
Well,
You
I
get what
mean,
I'm
that's exactly, and I think I see where you're going. So, like, I'm from Los Angeles, and in most cities, you're gonna see Black and brown people. You may see a scatter of white people, but it's not too many. You may see a Asian or something like that, but it's designated in certain communities. But the majority of what you're gonna see is Black and brown people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, um, you can have some Black people that hang um around brown people and they adopt that culture. Whereas you can have some brown people that hang around Black people and they adopt that culture. Same thing as if Sally Sue grew up on 139th, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And she grew up around Trey, you and I, and so that is the community in which she grew up in. So how it's looked at is she's adapted that culture. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Where it's like, oh, it's not naturally hers. How is it not? Because that's where she was brought up
That's where she was
in
raised.
that community. So
Is she not going to reflect in some aspect the community she grew up in?
facts. And that's what leads me to, like, I overstand the need for equality amongst those that are designated as minorities.
Mm-hmm.
I overstand that. And it's not just African Americans, it's Latin Americans as well. You know what I mean? It's those individuals, it's Muslims depending on the time of year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's anybody Middle Eastern anytime. So it's not, we can look at the cultural climate of um one particular group of disenfranchised people. And the reason why I say that is uh, a person that grew up in California, and when we took field trips to the missions, not plantations. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Those don't really exist there. So you're seeing all of these different missions, and you're seeing, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and it's very Hispanic. It's a high Hispanic influence. And so on that side of the globe, it's like, or that side of the country, if you will, you see more of a disenfranchisement of brown people. Not to say that you don't see Black people being vilified. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But you see more of a displacement of brown people, especially in California. Because, like, South America or Mexico is right there. So it's you can tell this was a specific point that was a part of their region,
Mm-hmm.
and they were overthrown, and now this is what you have left, is a shell of that existence.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can say on my coast, black empowerment or black history is not as big of a thing as when you come to the South.
Right.
Me living in the South, it is because, and it's not to say that there's not racism in California. It's not to say that there isn't classism. I'm not to say that it doesn't exist, but it is very segregated, and it's more so of, you're here, we're here, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you come to the South, because it was more Jim Crow in place. You know what I mean? You see more of the disenfranchisement of the African American community. And
Okay.
so that is what sets the tone, um, to me, when it comes to the um, conscious aspect or the cultural aspect of the black conscious community. It's constantly having to put in the forefront how disenfranchised, you know what I'm saying, the African American community is. It's like, okay, that's known. Now, what do we do with the culture, or to change the culture to show that the community is more than just sagging pants, selling dope,
Right.
trap music, Megan Thee Stallions, City Girls, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because this is what's seen. You're not hearing the news, or it's not broadcast as much if LeBron James opens another school, or if another black woman has just hit her third $1 million in a co-op. That is not the news. That's not the entertainment news that you're plugged into, unless you're on certain social media outlets, or
Mm-hmm.
you're a part of certain groups, or you're in this code, this subculture, you know what I mean, of the larger portion. And to me, the younger people are highly affected by mainstream culture,
Mm-hmm.
and it's causing a divide because you have nobody from mainstream culture within their age range that's really speaking out and saying anything. Like, you have those that are in our age range or even
Mm-hmm.
older that are like, look, we live, you know what I'm saying? Ice
Right.
Cube is my mom's age, and he is like, burn this shit. Fuck it,
Right.
you know what I mean?
So, what do you think? Okay, this is one of the, I guess, not an issue for me, because for me, your kids' knowledge has to begin at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's just point blank and period. But for those, everybody doesn't think like that, and it's sad, but I do have to admit that
Mm-hmm.
everybody doesn't think that way.
Right.
There are a slew of children being raised by the culture of what they see on TV.
Right.
Because with some of the, and don't get me wrong, I'm a rap fan. I
Mm-hmm.
love rap music, but I like rap that actually had something to say.
Right.
I don't like the, busting it wide open,
Right.
or all this stuff right now that is leading your young minds
Mm-hmm.
to think that, oh, life is about money, hoes, and cars.
Right. The hip hop has turned into, as they say, they call it rap, but it's rape. It's rape culture. You know what I mean? Because it is literally raping your mind. It's raping your sense of self worth. Is it is and if you think about rape in its definition, it's degrading, it's debasing, and we can pull up any rap song right now, trap rap, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll fit every single category. It's debasing, it's degrading.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, and this is popular. It's cool for me to say I bust that bitch wide open and I tell it bring it back. Like, it's that's the thing that you walk up to somebody and say, yo, bust it open. What? Or you see more, it's very in the younger community, and I'm gonna say between the ages of 18 and 25, they're very hypersexualized. Like,
Because as time has progressed, that's the part of the music that progressed. Because when I was younger, I was listening to awareness rap. Now, there still was separation
mm-hmm,
in different rap, but the rappers I was listening to, they told you a story about why this life ain't for you, or about why as a 13-year-old you shouldn't be having sex because now you got a baby and you don't know what to do.
right,
You done threw your baby in the trash. And
right,
it was still popping.
right,
Everybody liked it,
mm-hmm,
but no one was paying attention to the message because the message didn't come with titties and ass connected to
right.
it. So now, as the music has progressed past the, and I don't, there's one person, one artist in particular
Mm-hmm,
who I actually, if I had to rest blame on their shoulders,
mm-hmm.
I would absolutely rest the blame on his shoulders because, and I'm not going to say his name, but everybody call him uncle, and we know
Oh,
two
facts.
uncles,
Oh, facts.
and we already know one uncle I'm not talking about from
Right,
Cali. You
right,
feel what I'm
right,
saying?
right, 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 right.
So you know the other uncle that I'm
Mm-hmm,
talking about,
mm-hmm,
and he's known by this name.
mm-hmm,
He started that shit 100%. He was like, okay, cool, this part of this lifestyle ain't
mm-hmm,
working for me.
mm-hmm.
So let me take this little part right here and you know, put it out there. And once he put it out there and they start banning that shit,
Mm-hmm.
the kids started being like, oh, why they don't want us to see it?
Yeah.
Why they don't want us to listen to it?
Right.
And then once we got out, and he used his legal ease
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
freedom of speech. I can
Mm-hmm.
say what I want to say.
Slap a parental advisory
Slap
sticker
a
on it.
parental
And he was
advisory
the one
sticker.
that was the start
The
of that.
catalyst
Yeah.
for that.
Facts.
Back in it when I was buying,
Mm-hmm.
because you couldn't get music. The internet was brand spanking new
Mm-hmm.
when I was 14 years old. Nobody knew anything about the internet. If you had the internet, you was a millionaire. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you had a computer, you could afford that. Ain't nobody in the hood had no computers.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So we actually had to go and purchase our CDs
Mm-hmm.
or well, it was CDs and tapes in my time.
Right.
So we had to go and purchase that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did not have an adult present with you,
Couldn't buy it.
you couldn't buy it.
Facts.
Now, if your 5-year-old know how to use a smartphone, they can go and bust it wide open and stick it here and finish off there.
So in speaking to that, and that's what I mean by the culture. And so within the community, there is an unrest, or people begin to get upset if a picture is posted with a young woman that has a nice frame and you got your leg up like this, and you want to compare it to someone in a leotard, saying what's the difference? One,
Because
she's in a leotard.
and the person in the leotard is probably a highly paid ballerina.
And it's not to say that the other scantily dressed individual isn't a dancer, but perception of the culture that's given, accepted, is going to put in your mind that she's an exotic dancer, not a ballerina. You know what I mean? No, she's probably not dancing for the Debbie Allen or Allen Avey, what's his name? Alvin Ailey Academy. You know, so it's like,
and let me pause you there, because a lot of these scantily clad, I'll call them moms. The first thing out of their mouth is always, I wanted to be a dancer, or I wanted to be a model. Right. And you thought so lowly of yourself that you decided the way to break into dancing or modeling was to show your titties, ass, and pussy, or show the bulk of it and cover up just a
I
little
don't know
bit.
if you can say that.
What?
I don't know if you can say that. Say it again, but bleep it.
Titties, ass, and cookies.
There you go. That's probably
Okay.
better. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm kind of straightforward. My bad. Sorry, I'm working. So if they put it out there, all these Instagram models and Twitter and wherever else they
right,
Snapchats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when they put it out there in this package,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they gonna take notice. But the first thing in their mind, okay. So I'm an artist, right? I'm a singer, and I'm a very racy singer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm half naked on stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I post that I'm looking for dancers
Right.
for my video,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna choose the chick in the leotard.
No.
Cause she might have a little bit of respect,
Mm-hmm.
and she might not want to show her body. But I'm gonna choose this chick over here who I can see her nipples through her bra,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see the imprint of her cookies through her barely there shorts.
Right. So
this is who I'm gonna put out there because this is what is going to sell. So it makes it seem like that the culture we're putting out there is very much so sexualized.
Mm-hmm.
And with these parents who are we're the product of before, because our children is the now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad to say that a lot of us decided that we didn't want to impose certain things on our children that were imposed on us.
Facts.
And in the sauce, the mix, and all of that, the lessons and the learning and the focal points were lost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real hard to try to drag try to let a kid know that has seen their entire life that you the coolest dude on the block if you got money and your pants sagging.
Mm-hmm.
So when your child, your son, your daughter, your whoever grow up and do exactly what you've allowed them to see their entire life, how is it that you now don't know where you went wrong?
Facts. I mean, it's gone from, as the culture changes, culture has gone from idolizing and urban culture, idolizing the pimp, and then idolizing the gangster, and then idolizing the drug dealer. And it's gotten so low on the totem pole is now you're idolizing an entertainer that ain't even done half the shit. At least the pimp was actually out there pimping, and the gangsters was actually out there gangstering. They was with all the shit. They had they was ready with all the smoke. So
right, but here's the thing. I want to throw that in there real quick because this is the one thing that the gangsters do that the entertainers don't. And this is sad because the entertainers, you have a bigger, wider, more vast platform than the hood nigga do.
Of course.
But a lot of gangsters, once they have gotten comfortable and have just decided this is how I'm gonna live my life. This is how my life is going. You know, when gangsters get to them points where they are OGs now,
right?
They get to the point where, man, look, I'm going one or two places. I'm going to jail or I'm going to hell. And that's it. They ain't looking no further. Those are their two options, and they're okay with that. However, normally, them same gangsters will see young niggas and be like, yo, nah, this ain't what you need to be. This ain't the life for you. You need to do better than this. You don't need to repeat this cycle. Yeah, it's plenty of little youngsters that they invite in because them youngsters already done gave up on themselves. So yeah, they do invite them in. That's where I lay the fault with the gangsters. But some of those young ones who want to be there and them gangsters know, nah, your potential, we gonna make sure we do everything we can so that you don't die in this jungle. You gonna get out this jungle.
Mm-hmm.
The only entertainers, because I can't say all, but most entertainers are only concerned with the youth when something catastrophic happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's never an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the even though I'm not a fan of LeBron James because of his arrogance,
Right.
but what I am a fan of is his love for going back home and trying to make sure these kids get out the ghetto
Right.
in some kind of way.
Right.
No matter how I got to do it, I'm gonna figure out a way to get at least one of them.
So, with that being said, again, people get caught up in cultural stereotypes,
Mm-hmm.
and getting caught in the cultural stereotype is like it leads you to choose a specific typecast role.
Facts.
Are you going to be the kid that grows up in the hood and makes it out of the hood and goes to college? Are you the one that, we know all of the different typecast type of characters that are chosen once you choose to adopt specific cultures. Now let me rewind. As I was saying earlier, being raised in California, it's not that we didn't have Black history.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we didn't know about civil rights and all of those things like that. There were no civil rights marches over there. They were all in the South. You know what I'm saying? So it seemed almost fantasy-ish to see, like, I would love to go to Alabama. I would love to go to Atlanta and to see these different places, and then you get there and you're like, this is it? Well, where are all the businesses? And where are all the, the things that were celebrated and that were talked about and all of these things? And so we can say, and this is where I say the community has to take responsibility. If it was built once, and let's take Tulsa, and the bombing took place. Okay, there was insurance. After the insurance came, why stop rebuilding? Rebuild, and then rebuild again, and then rebuild again, and then rebuild again, if that's what it takes. And then once you rebuild that time, okay, you know what? We're going to have a stronger policing force. And we're going to have to make sure that we have X, Y, and Z. Because now it's the community is stepping up to say, we're not going to let this happen. Why has a Black Wall Street not been reborn?
Well,
and not just basing it off the culture, because to be honest, there's a lot of people that are millionaires that you wouldn't even know are millionaires. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of Black millionaires. There are. So there is a vast opportunity to have that type of real life community.
But you got to actually believe the words that's coming out your own mouth. Because a lot of people, that it sounds good when we're talking about it. Oh yeah, you need to own your own. Now, when you just spoke about rebuilding, that's why I say you got to believe what come out of your own mouth. Because let's just use hurricane season. People in Florida, every year
they know a hurricane coming.
Every year they refortify their homes because they believe this is my home. I am not leaving my community. I'm going to take my insurance money and I'm going to rebuild and refortify again because this is my home. This is my community. They do this every single year. They don't move anything. They move long enough to do what? Rebuild. So in the black community, they didn't believe in themselves enough to keep rebuilding. And okay, let's rebuild. Okay, let's rebuild. It's like for black people, you want it in the now. You don't want the work for it though. So like I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. One day, and I'm gonna exaggerate it a little bit because I don't, it's something that we plan on doing. But so one day, some friends and we were cracking jokes about something, and one of the friends was like, "Hey, you should look at property here in this spot." So me and the friends, we was looking at property, and the spot was ideal. 177 acres of land for roughly $300,000. Now, $300,000. Some of y'all live in a $300,000 house. You're paying the mortgage on that. That's one house. I have 177 acres. Who's serious about uplifting blacks?
The one that's buying the acreage.
Because why are you buying the acre? Why would you buy 177 acres?
Trying to build something.
Trying to build something.
Shit, right. You trying to do something. I don't know. You building something.
So if you get 177 acres and all this is your land, now all of a sudden, whose land is this? Because we need to widen this road. Mine.
It's mine.
Whose land? We need to add cell phone towers. Whose land is this? Mine. I'm gonna need that contract. Because I'm gonna definitely build my land up, and I'm gonna use y'all to do it.
Facts.
So once I build, because I'm gonna use my 177 acres to get a no money down, built from the ground up home just the way I like it, on all 177 of my acres.
And I'm gonna add to that.
And as you progress, you add your first business.
Facts.
Whose business is this, and on whose land does it sit? My business, my land, right? Why is that not the forefront thought of people who are starting to see, and then you want to know what you can do to be different or make your existence different? Start with you and then build around you.
I think the first step is rebuilding community relationships. And I often wonder, some of the leaders, and I mean on not in a mainstream stance, but some of the lower levels that you might check out that speak on different topics, if they know like the people in their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Do they know all the different people on the block? Do they know such and such down the street just had a grandbaby? And in order, and it's not to say that this doesn't exist. I think when you go to more suburban or more even country, in the country, it's always everybody know everybody. You know what I mean? And what's crazy to me is those people that those younger generations that come up in the country, they want to leave because it's like everybody in your business.
It's so boring.
Everybody, it's nothing to do. But it's like, well, if there is nothing there, and you know, and this community knows you, why wouldn't you build what's needed?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so because we're so quick, it's been a the culture of the community has turned into leave home rather than staying home, making sure that you're building a foundation, making sure that the children are set to take on, you know what I mean, the world, and be independent and do the things that they need to do. It's more of a, okay, well, go, yep, graduated high school, bye. And it's like, it's a choice of, well, you either go to the military, you get a job,
Or go to school.
or go to school. How often are we positioning to our children, do you want to start a business? You know what I mean? Well, do you have any inventions? Have you ever thought about inventing something or doing something? Because the only reason why a person is going to try to run away or escape something is if they feel that they're lacking something of where they are. And you're trying to get away from what doesn't have what you think you want. But if you recognize and you have a different type of upbringing to say, your community has your back. You know that Miss Sarah and and Miss Pat and Mr. Ernie and all of these people that have been in this community for 20, 30, 40 years. And that, oh yeah, that's such and such granddaughter. Well, yeah, she talking about starting opening up a warehouse down here, and she trying to get some money together. You would get that business started quicker in that community because they know each other.
Yeah.
And they would be, you know what, that's a good, and I'm just saying that's a good family. And I know them folk down there, and they done always been good to us. And
they always work hard, so I know what
yeah, we're going to support what we
from.
need to do to make sure they get started. That is what attracted me to wanting to come into the Southern Comfort. When I went and visited my grandmother in Louisiana for the first time, everybody was waving. I was like, hey, that's what that does. Like, people, hey there. Hey, how you doing? All right. How you doing today? And it was just like, you don't even know me.
And it's fun because when I visited California, me and my all southernness, I would see people on the street and walking past because we do it in the South. Hey, how you doing? Even though you don't know this person, it's because they're walking past you. You know what I'm saying? They're venturing in and out of your space, but you want to acknowledge that. Hey, how are you doing today?
Right.
And most times, I'm good, you. All right, have a good one. And I did that a couple of times in Cali, and I was like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And it was like, did I do something wrong?
No. And that's the thing. It's like it's such a difference. And if we go by the aspect of saying, in my opinion, we need to stop going based off of all the fucked up shit that done happened.
Right.
In the black community, we are highly aware slavery has happened. They ain't gonna do shit about it. You ain't finna get no rep. Like, just let's really have that conversation to know that it's probably gonna be 100 years or whatever when reparations would actually be given.
They're being given now. They're paying the streets. Black Lives Matter street. What?
Stop it. Don't go there.
What?
I mean, and that is
they're giving you things
because it's almost like
it's
exactly. And exactly, because you're asking for civil liberties and they're giving you streets paved and gold paint. I'm just saying. So
we ain't gonna get into that symbolism.
We're not gonna get into that symbolism. My thing is if you say that you have that these people have a 400-year head start, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just gave an example of a southern community, a small southern community, in which all of these people know, and that, oh, that's the Carters, that's the Lewises, was it? That's the
Mm-hmm.
Doddells, that's
Mm-hmm.
the, you know what I'm saying? We know that family,
Right.
and these are different families that can come together without the need of federal reparations, and it may be something that a lot of people don't want to hear, but I don't feel that reparations is going to solve anything. I don't feel that giving black Americans a lump sum of money is going to fix the problem.
It's not. That's just what they want as the pacifier. You get what I'm saying?
How does that
It's not
pacify
because it
anything?
shuts you
Because
up.
what let's be real. If we're considering the culture of slavery of what it is,
Mm-hmm.
what dollar amount can you put on that to say this is enough to make me feel better about the raping and pillaging and beating and killing of generations and languages and
Because what
lineages?
they are doing, there is no amount. What they're doing is for those of you who want reparations, let us show you how you can be bought. What? The truth is the truth, and I don't care who don't like it. It's the truth. Because if there is a dollar amount
Mm-hmm.
that you can place on hundreds of years ago, your ass beat, your baby snatched out your arms and sold, you being used as a breeder, you being raped and forcing to have master's kids who he's not gonna give away because them gonna be his house niggas later
Right.
on. If you can put a dollar amount on that, something wrong with you.
I totally agree.
Something wrong
And
with
then
you.
so you get the conversations like, well, we should get something. Well, it's like, why do you need something from a system that don't fuck with you no way?
And here's the thing: a lot of people would then take it to the Nazi era and Adolf Hitler, right? These people
Be very
got
careful what you
what?
say about them folks. We'll get shut down ASAP. No.
I mean, but they got compensation.
They did.
Because what were they able to do? They were able to put a number on the short
Mm.
period of time
Hmm.
that this happened.
I mean, and not only that,
This
it
didn't happen
was
for 400 or 500 years, did it?
why was the United States giving Holocaust reparations?
You did not even let me get there. You snatched the words off my tongue. So, if we, as a country,
Hmm.
giving payments to survivors of the Holocaust,
Hmm.
did it happen here?
No.
Where did it happen?
It happened in Germany, Europe.
Okay.
Yeah,
So why did we pay for it?
not sure.
Okay. So for slavery, that did happen here
Mm-hmm.
over years and years and years and years. You may as well turn over your entire wealth, your government, your everything to me, right?
Facts.
And even that's not enough.
Because if you're going based off, and that's why I say, honestly, the conversation of reparations won't go far. Because historically, the United States is not even as old as the system of slavery within the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whole nother topic, baby.
whole nother topic. But I'm just saying,
I get you though.
if slavery was 400 years and America is only 200 and some years old, you don't have enough history, American history, to even repay for a system of enslavement and servitude. So that's why I'm saying we have to get up. Sometimes you gotta say shit like that so people be, oh,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
you're asking for something that literally can probably never happen because you're talking about something that happened before the governmental system was established as America as we know it. So America could you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Now, if you took it back to the Union, and if we separated the colonies and before the Louisiana Purchase and all of this shit, and we were still separated in colonies rather than the United States before they gained their independence, quote finger. Because if that was the case, why do we have the Federal Reserve? But moving on. So what I'm saying is, there is no way that America, at the age that she is, can pay reparations for a system older than her. Clap that shit up. So if I remove Confederate statues, if I remove the culture of slavery, if I give off some apologies, some sorry sap apologies, if I as a corporation put up a sign that says, you know what?
Black Lives Matter.
You do matter. You matter. You do matter.
Just keep spending your money.
Just keep spending your money. You matter to us.
Because you matter to us.
And so, we'll say, and another person, oh, well, you posted that you got paid time off for Juneteenth. I sure did. And see, I don't expect a system that was not designed for people not born within a specific bloodline to give me any fucking thing. And that's the thing. Right. So if you decide, if your bread crumbs trickle down, oh, okay, I'll get a paid day off. But that shit don't move me. You know what I'm saying? Take the little stimulus check and the little business loans that if you have a business, take advantage of that shit.
Listen. But let's be legal, okay?
Okay, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just get out of the culture that's set up for you and start creating your own culture. Create your own network.
I'm so glad you said that, because we all know that you have to use your network to build your net worth.
You got to do what?
Use your network to build your net worth. So, which leads me to my last question.